Well, hello there, motherfuckers. And I keep telling myself, Brad, don't bother with this wrestling crap anymore. People have been saying that to me, but the majority of my subscribers still love when I rant on the product. I know they don't want to see me tortured, but I know they always, because whenever I do a video, everyone appreciates it. So I have to do another one here, guys. And what it's about is that right now, we have probably the worst main eventers. I was meaning to do this video like in the past. So Seth Rollins is no longer the WWE champion, but it's rumored that he might win the title back at SummerSlam. So we'll be back to the scenario. So right now, who are the top guys? Seth Rollins.
Seth freaking Rollins!
And Kofi Kingston. And, I guess maybe I want to talk a little bit more about Kofi Kingston. Because, Seth Rollins, okay, we all know that the guy sucks. Honestly. And why does he suck? It's because everyone thinks that this guy is good. Because, he does, the most athletic stuff that a guy has ever done, in his spot. And I'll give him that. Seth Rollins is athletic. Ever since I seen the guy do the Phoenix Splash, I'm like, wow, this guy, he's got some talent. This is why, we gotta be honest here. If I got up on the top rope, I couldn't do that Phoenix Splash. I don't think so. I mean, maybe if I never really tried to do a Phoenix Splash, but maybe if I really, put my heart into it, I could do it. I don't know, I just, I remember my cousin could do a swanton bomb into the pool, and every single time I tried to do it, I'm talking about when I was 11, 12 years old, I can never figure out how to do that flip into the pool. And so I don't know, but anyway, Seth Rollins, the guy doesn't sell. He can't talk. Even if he could talk, he has that annoying voice that it's even if he cut the same promos that Stone Cold cut back in the Attitude Era, or that The Rock cut,
it still have this tone of voice.
And I love, when the Seth Rollins fans, I remember one person came on my video and says, oh, you have a more annoying voice than Seth Rollins. I think that is scientifically impossible. That's biologically impossible. No one on the face of this planet has a more annoying voice than Seth Rollins. And I don't know if you need, more proof. Ask a scientist, because I'm pretty sure they'd probably give you the same answer. This is science. You don't want to mess with science. Are you anti-science that you're saying that Seth Rollins' voice is not biologically the most annoying on the planet? Because I think you are. Anyway, so we all know this, they tried to push this guy, he's the next Triple H, he's Triple H's apprentice, the match with Triple H at WrestleMania was horrible, the guy has got a messed up leg, and at the end he's magically better, that is for Shawn Michaels to do, and even Shawn Michaels found a way to do it more clever, he wouldn't be catapulting off the top rope. For come on, man. That is just amateur stuff. To see a guy in a big match at WrestleMania wrestling, like a young buck. I mean, honestly, is there a difference between the Young Bucks and Seth Rollins? Probably not. Those guys should be six-man tagging. Seth Rollins would fit better in AEW than he would in WWE. But pretty much now I look at the rosters and they're pretty much identical. You got a bunch of jobbers on both sides. So, we already know about Seth Rollins. We've talked about him 1,000 times. But why I've been, absent from doing Raw and SmackDown reviews, the Schleg Daddy came back. And, he's happy for Kofi Kingston. I love the Schleg Daddy. I think, OTRS is great. I disagree with him on certain things, and Probably one of the biggest things is like him ranting about the black wrestlers and give the black wrestlers a chance. Vince is racist and all this. And, you know, I really like don't buy it. Because the thing is, if Vince was racist, he wouldn't be hiring any black wrestlers. Like, you know, why would he have to? Where does the rules say that he has to? It's a wrestling company. You know, this like all started with Booker T not winning the title at WrestleMania 19, and the storyline was like about racism. But I think that was more akin to, you know, the fact that Triple H, was just, you know, I mean, the guy went on to squash Goldberg, you know, at SummerSlam, beat him into within an inch of his life with a sledgehammer, made the guy look really weak in the Elimination Chamber that same year. So, like, I'm sorry, but, like, even with that, I still don't buy it. But it's not about Booker T. You know, we move on and with Mark Henry. And, I mean, you could even say to a certain extent, you know, I don't even see people arguing for Ron Simmons. Now, that was a tough guy. That was a believable WWE champion. At one point, he even wrestled The Undertaker for the world title at a pay-per-view back in 1997. You know, and now, especially nowadays, it's funny. It's like, you know, around when Farouk was in the APA, you wouldn't even think about him being a world champion because there were so many other, like Undertaker, Rock. There was no room for more main eventers. I've said this in the past, but no one brings up Farouk, Ron Simmons. But like now, a Ron Simmons, like if he was in his prime right now, like I'm even looking at him, you know, during the Raw reunion, you know, when he walked up to Mike Kanellis. You look at Mike Kanellis, you know, Mike Bennett, and then look at Ron Simmons. Ron Simmons is like 20, 25 years older than this guy. Maybe even more than that. And he looks like more of a man than Mike Bennett. You know, even Mike Bennett with the beard and everything. I'll even say I see him on Instagram. The guy's getting in fantastic shape. What a tremendous body transformation. But it doesn't matter. Even with a better physique, Ron Simmons looks so much more manly, so much more masculine. You know, but anyway, so the story is, you know, this is the what culture thing. This is like the big thing on the internet for the smarks. And Schlag Daddy is by no means a smark, and he doesn't cater to the smarks. You know, and he's one of the wiser guys, but I don't understand. You know what? He kind of has a little bit of JD-itis, you know, catering to the smarks. You know, you know, the Kofi Kingston winning at WrestleMania was an inspiration. It was an inspiration. You know, it was an inspiration, I guess, to losers. You know, to jokesters. Kofi Kingston dancing around with a unicorn strapped to his head. Spent the last 5 years wrestling, you know, with throwing pancakes to the crowd, making stupid, lame jokes, and all of a sudden, the guy who wasn't even supposed to be in a match gets thrown into a match, and a bunch of smarks all of a sudden start getting on the Kofi Kingston bandwagon. Oh, he's been there for 11 years. Really? So, you know, there's been all these guys who are more deserving. You know, like, look, for example, R-Truth. Let's talk about R-Truth here for a minute. Now, this guy, he hasn't been there for 11 years yet. It's been like 10 years. So, Kofi wins by 1 year. This guy was even in WWE back in 2000 as K-Quick. Before they released them. And this guy, if you ask me, it's just my opinion, is way more talented. Way more talented than Kofi Kingston. And no one cries racism when it comes to him. So like I'm saying, it's very selective. You know, like really very selective about, who we pick and everything. You know, and this is, it makes people, and I've noticed it on the internet. Why is it all the white people, JD, Schleg Daddy, who are all like, hey guys, I support the black wrestlers. Come on. I'm not saying get behind talented guys. I'm saying I'm a big fan of R-Truth. There's a talented guy. Look at the guy's almost 50. He's in amazing shape. Look at Sami Zayn, another guy who's like 20 years younger, and he looks like fucking garbage. Looks like a damn. Look at Kevin Owens. There's the next Stone Cold. Oh, that's a story for another day. You know, so like, okay, so you know, but Kofi Kingston, he's been there for 11 years. He's in the right place at the right time. Let's throw all our support behind him, and all the white dudes in the YWC start rallying behind him. I'm saying I'm not here to insult the Schleg Daddy. I might be here to insult JD. I'm just saying, but I'm saying what I'm trying to say here is why. What is the need here to like make what, like I've always said this. What is it about the YWC? What is it about wrestling that makes people, you know, feel empowered when they say something very social justice warrior like? You know, oh, I feel empowered supporting black wrestlers. Like, who cares about this cause? Like, honestly? Like, really? Like, you know? Like, this is what people focus on in their lives? There needs to be a black champion. Oh my god, well, you know, this is like a renaissance. I mean, like, really? Like, this is like Leonardo da Vinci era shit we're talking about here. Black wrestlers wearing fake belts. It's all the rage. Give me a break. Focus on something meaningful. That's why I can't stand this wrestling anymore. You know, like, we're all going to sit around and pretend the WrestleMania was amazing because a guy who's there for 11 years and he's black won a championship. Like, what am I supposed to say? Like, am I supposed to feel empowered and passionate? You know, like, I don't like him personally as a wrestler. You know, and when I did, many people said that it was a racial thing. No, it's a thing like I don't like his character because I don't know, maybe because I don't really care for people dancing around with unicorns strapped to their foreheads. Think it might have anything to do about that? I wouldn't like Stone Cold if he did that either, but he doesn't. How many times have I praised Booker T, Titus O'Neil, R-Truth over the years? It's like it's completely ridiculous that anyone would even say that. You know, I don't have to act like all these other people in the YWC and be like, oh, I love them. You know, like, see that right there? That's racial. You're going to get behind someone just because of their race, just because it makes you look good, like as a white person. So, no, it doesn't. It makes you look stupid. And quite frankly, I think most, like, black people, like, that's pandering, don't really appreciate that. Like, just be yourself. If you like the wrestler, fine. If you think Kofi Kingston deserves it, fine. But when you, like, you know, like Schleg Daddy and the rest, when you go on these rants about, oh, Vince is a racist because there hasn't been enough black champions. That's stupid. That's uncalled for. That just sounds really tacky. Very tacky. And I don't really like that kind of talk. I'm not defending Vince McMahon because he's a bum and he's let this product fall to pieces. He's slapped us in the face so many times as fans. It's, you know, I can't even count it. But, you know, like, honestly, like, the whole, like racist thing, like, I really don't see it. I'm not really buying it. Sorry, it's not something that I really think is like a real thing where there's this big conspiracy to hold the black wrestlers down. I mean, maybe Vince thinks that, but I'm just saying, there really hasn't been a lot of black guys that really have like deserved to be like a world champion. You know, like I've named them before. Yeah, Booker T, he won a world heavyweight championship, but like that's what I love. Like they gave it to Mark Henry, they gave it to Booker T, but like I guess because they didn't do it at WrestleMania 19, it was racist. And like you know, and the thing is, it's like, oh, and it was the World Heavyweight Championship. But that's not good enough. You know, it had to be the WWE title. It's like, it's so stupid. You know, because at the time, actually, when Booker T won it, that title was meaningful. You know, it wasn't like the title, like in 2011, where it didn't really mean anything when it was like on both shows and was meaningless to have two titles. You know, so like, I don't get it. So to me, like, Kofi Kingston is a champion now. You see this guy, and he cuts these boring promos. You look at him, and I'm sorry, like, do you, like, honestly, like, we want to talk about, like, putting a belt on the black wrestler. Who, besides, you know, because, like, right now, like, I would say the same thing about R-Truth. You know, he's in no position to be a world champion the way how they've made him so goofy. But who do you think would be a better champion than Kofi Kingston? Who can you think off the top of your head right now who would make a better champion? If we're gonna make this a race issue, and we're gonna say that, you know, Kofi is great because the color of his skin. You know, who have I praised in the past that's, you know, looks like a champion, would act like a champion, would be a believable champion, 10 times, 100 times, 300 times more believable than Kofi Kingston? Well, you know, I don't know. Maybe Bobby Lashley? Huh? Maybe? You know? Like, you want to talk about, like, a black guy, you know, who deserves a championship? Would be Bobby Lashley. But instead, let's all throw our support behind Kofi Kingston and completely ignore Bobby Lashley. This is what I'm saying. Like, the fans are completely fickle. They have no idea. It's like what someone said about Daniel Bryan's promo. You know, him coming out saying, fickle. Like, you know, you don't need a promo to tell you that. The fact that WWE listens to their audience when their audience is microscopic is sad. It's very sad. It was different when they would listen to their audience when they had so many people watching them. Then they didn't really have a choice. But there's like an old adage. Never play to the house. You play to the people at home. Because that's where there's only so many people you can fit in an arena. You're going to play to 16,000 people? There's not even that many people because they can't even fill up an arena. I don't know, guys, but I'm just saying, this is like, we have the worst champions ever. I mean, really? You know, like, the worst champions ever. Like, it doesn't get any worse than this, guys. I mean, really. But yeah, there you go. I mean, this turned more into a Kofi Kingston rant more than anything. But, you know, Seth freaking Rollins and Kofi Kingston's been there for 11 years. That stuff's really getting on my nerves. You know, the product would still be bad without those guys, but it makes it so much worse. So much worse. Anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down below. Click the bell so you get all the notifications when I post all my new videos. And guys, thank you for watching. I will see you next time.